The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
And you're going to love it.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope you had a nice week. All right, couple quick personal things. Happy belated birthday to my niece and nephew who turned 13 yesterday. So happy birthday to them on 7/11. Can't even believe they're 13, going on 30. And then today, 7/12, is actually our dad's birthday. So may he be resting in peace and looking down. And I'll finally let the cat out of the bag for those of you that have been basically listening from the jump, from the get-go of the Deep Shallow Dive. I used to have 7/12 episodes. And I had a lot of people ask me, hey, what does that mean? And I never would tell them. So basically, the 7/12 was a ode to our dad, the original critical thinker in the Dewstar family, that's for sure. But the 7/12 was meant to be that. Now, I've already apologized to him like 1,000 times. But man, I stopped doing those 7/12 episodes because I kind of had an informal deal that those were the episodes that are under 15 minutes. And I haven't really had any episodes under 15 minutes for like 100 episodes now. So anyway, I'll figure out how to bring the 7/12 back into the mix. But yeah, that's what that was. That was a small way to honor our dad. And anyway, Dad, happy birthday. Hope you are playing some backgammon up there. Maybe having some beers with your buddies. Many of our family friends are up there with you. So anyway, happiest birthday to him. All right. So I'm going to just do a couple quick things today and then actually talk about, moving forward. Man, I really do have a lot of great interviews. And so I'm going to up the release schedule on these episodes because honestly, I'm like backlogged right now with interviews. And so I might even start releasing podcast interviews on Saturdays as well. So keep an eye out on your phone. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow with an episode with a really, really interesting guy named Sam Moses. He has a custom sock business called Socrates, and they basically make business to business kind of promotional product socks. But what's cool is dude makes them in Italy. So they're like really nice Italian socks. And he was kind enough to make me 100 pairs. So I've got a bunch of Deep Shallow Dive DSD socks, and they're really nice. I mean, they look, the DSD logo is just on the top and it just says DSD, but they're like very sporty striped socks in black, white, and orange. Something actually I know I personally would like totally wear these socks regardless of them having branding or no branding. But the cool thing is they've kind of got the branding, but you can't really tell. Anyway, I'm going to be doing some fun giveaways with these socks. And also if you end up buying a copy of the book on the Deep Shallow Dive website and you want it autographed by me, you'll also get a free pair of socks. So that's kind of cool on that. But yeah, I'm going to try to release Sam's episode tomorrow. So that'll be a fun episode to listen to over the weekend if you're out for a nice walk or out for something, a long drive or something like that. All right, what else? Okay, let's move on. Talk about a couple quick things. One is, all right, so the Joe Biden stuff, it's definitely heating up. If you didn't see, there was a very, I personally think, unbelievably strategic play that happened where George Clooney, who literally just 3 weeks ago hosted a massive fundraiser for Biden along with Julia Roberts and President Obama here in Los Angeles. I think I talked about it. They raised like $30 million at that fundraiser. He was espousing the benefits of Biden. This is our guy, blah, blah, blah. Well, this week, I think on Wednesday, he came out very, very, very publicly and said that we need a new nominee. Biden can't be it anymore. So anyway, this stuff does not happen on a whim. It just doesn't. This is all premeditated. It's all a plan. As soon as Clooney did that, Michael Douglas went on The View. Here's another guy 3 weeks ago was talking about how Biden's the only guy that can beat Trump. And then on Thursday, he goes on The View basically saying, oh, he's such a dear, kind man. He's so dear. He's so lovely. But, maybe we do need to think about moving in another direction. So he went there. Nancy Pelosi did it. So anyway, I don't think this stuff is organic. I think it's all kind of orchestrated. You start at a top-down celebrity level. You've got somebody like George Clooney who, most people who are not critical thinkers, they respect him simply because he's a movie star. Who gives a shit? Like what does George Clooney have to say or know about anything political? Why should we even care? I personally don't. Again, he's entitled to his opinion. That's fine. But why is there clout put behind that? Well, that's unfortunately the society we live in. But again, I think that stuff all is orchestrated. It's all something that is not indiscriminate. Let's just put it that way. Now, what's going to happen? I don't really know. Are they going to here? Let's go through the options. The options are, one is you just stay the course. And even if they do a second debate against Trump, and even if he gets crushed in the second debate like this time, I do think they'll pump him full of something, the same thing they had him on during that State of the Union, because bro was rocking during that. But let's say he even does a second debate, it's terrible on him. As long as they turn up the convicted felon, threat to democracy, all those storylines that the Democratic Party leans into, they might be able to get through this election, win, and then deal with it from there. You've got Kamala, who I don't think anybody wants her as president, which is funny. Even my Democrat friends, or I'm like, all right, Kamala, really? And they're like, no, that's the last person we want in there. She's absolutely not, proven herself not to be who we thought she was. So that's interesting that, even the Democrats aren't really supportive of her. So then the question becomes, if they don't stay this course, then in the DNC convention in August, what is the play? Biden either steps down voluntarily, steps down due to, a major health complication. And who could it be? It's got to be Gavin Newsom. I've been saying this for a year. It has to be him. I really do. I really think that. I think it's got to be Gavin Newsom. I don't think Michelle Obama is somebody that, she's already come out on record saying she doesn't want to do it. So I think that would be weird. I don't know why they came out on record saying that if there is a chance. But I do think that, I don't know, because of Gavin Newsom being the governor of California, and there's a track record there of being in politics, aside from obviously being the first lady, I think that is definitely the solution. Kamala stays as VP to promote continuity. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see if that's the plan. All right, so here's what I'm going to do the rest of this episode. This is kind of fun. I saw this on Instagram, and I just kind of went down the rabbit hole myself, but I basically asked ChatGPT who it considers the greatest athletes in a variety of sports. And so I thought I would read those to you and go through those for the rest of this fun Friday episode. All right, so let's start. All right, so I started off with basketball. I said, I'm trying to come up with a list of the top basketball players of all time. Can you give me who you think the top 10 players in the history of the NBA are? And then ChatGPT responded, sure, here's a list of the top 10 players in the history of the NBA. Number 1, Michael Jordan. Number 2, LeBron James. Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 4, Magic Johnson. 5, Larry Bird. 6, Shaquille O'Neal. 7, Tim Duncan. 8, Wilt Chamberlain. 9, Bill Russell. 10, Kobe Bryant. Man, that's tough to argue that. That's a pretty good list. I don't know if I'd put Shaq at number 6, but Michael Jordan at 1, no doubt. Even though I'm not a huge LeBron fan I'm really not. I think he is number 2. I definitely think he is number 2. Kareem at 3, absolutely. And then really 4 through 10, I mean, that's not bad. Magic, Bird, like I said, number 6 with Shaq. That's the only one that I don't know if I'd put him at 6. You got the big fundamental, Tim Duncan at 7, Wilt the Stilt at 8, Bill Russell at 9. There's a lot of talk about Bill Russell not really being that good. He just had good teams. So that one you could question, Bill Russell. And then Kobe at 10, I do think Kobe is in the top 10. All right, so then I said, okay, let's move on to the NFL. For starters, let's go with some positions. And can you give me the top 10 quarterbacks of all time? And so that list reads, number 1, Tom Brady, 2, Joe Montana, 3, Peyton Manning, 4, Johnny Unitas, 5, John Elway, 6, Dan Marino, 7, Drew Brees, 8, Brett Favre, 9, Roger Staubach, 10, Steve Young. That's a pretty good list. I think the only one that I think maybe deserves to be a little higher up is, I don't know, number 5, John Elway, number 6, Dan Marino. Could those guys be, I guess what would they be? Maybe, I don't know, top 3 are pretty solid. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning. Obviously Johnny Unitas, I don't know too much about his game because that was before our time. All right, there's quarterbacks. Let's go into running backs. Here's the top 10 running backs. Jim Brown, number 1. 2, Barry Sanders. 3, Walter Payton. 4, Emmitt Smith. 5, Eric Dickerson. 6, Gale Sayers. 7, O.J. the Killer Simpson. 8, LaDainian Tomlinson. 9, Adrian Peterson. 10, Marshall Faulk. Again, pretty good list. I think that's tough to argue. Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Eric Dickerson, top 5. Pretty tough to argue those. Gale Sayers, OJ. Man, that's a good list. All right, wide receivers, top 10 wide receivers in the history of the NFL. Number 1, Jerry Rice. 2, Randy Moss. 3, T.O. Terrell Owens. 4, Larry Fitzgerald. 5, Marvin Harrison. 6, Calvin Johnson, Megatron. 7, Chris Carter. 8, Steve Largent. 9, Tim Brown. 10, Antonio Brown. I think the only one there you might argue would be Antonio Brown at number 10, which he was an amazing receiver, but I think with all of his, issues, his career definitely was cut short, but obviously the talent was there. And had he not kind of gone off the wall, I think Antonio Brown would be ranked even higher up. But Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, T.O., Larry Fitzgerald. I'm surprised Lynn Swann or who else? John Stallworth, the Steelers receivers, were not in there. Those are the only 2 that I can think of. All right. Tight end. Here's the top 10 tight ends. And then from here, I think I limited it to top 5. Top 10 tight ends in the history of the NFL. Tony Gonzalez, 1. Rob Gronkowski, 2. Antonio Gates, 3. Shannon Sharp, 4. Kellen Winslow Sr., 5. Jason Witten, 6. Ozzie Newsome, the Wizard of Oz from the Cleveland Browns. Number 7. John Mackey. Number 8, Travis Kelce at 9, Mike Ditka at 10. That's a pretty good list. A lot of people think Travis Kelce will end up being higher than that, but overall, that's a pretty good list. All right, let's move into baseball. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but here's the top 10 it gave me in baseball. And actually, this is interesting. This is the one sport where it doesn't have a lot of current guys. So you've got Babe Ruth 1, Willie Mays 2, Hank Aaron 3, Ted Williams 4, Ty Cobb 5, Lou Gehrig 6, Walter Johnson 7, Stan Musial 8, Mickey Mantle 9, Jackie Robinson 10. Wow, like literally nobody from maybe the past 40 years. That's pretty insane. Okay. Let's move on back to football, actually. And then I asked for the top 10 defensive players in the NFL history. So number 1, LT Lawrence Taylor. Number 2, the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. Number 3, Dick Butkus. Number 4, Ray Lewis. Number 5, primetime, Deion Sanders. Number 6, Ronnie Lott. Dude lost a pinky and kept playing in a game. That's insane. Number 7, Bruce Smith. Number 8, Mean Joe Green. Number 9, Deacon Jones. And 10, J.J. Watt. That's a pretty good list. I think LT, Reggie White, as 1 and 2. That definitely makes sense. Who else there was a guy, Bruce Smith. They have him at number 7. Okay. All right, that's that. Okay, now we're going to move into hockey. For you hockey fans out there, top 5 hockey players of all time. I'll dedicate this to Dave Carlander. Number 1, Wayne Gretzky. 2, Bobby Orr. 3, Mario Lemieux. 4, Gordie Howe. And 5, Maurice Rocket Richard. I don't even know who that is. Maurice Rocket Richard. Maybe he's a new guy. So that's hockey. Now let's go on to men's tennis. This is a competitive one, actually. So number 1, ChatGPT has as Roger Federer. 2, Rafael Nadal. 3, Novak Djokovic. Although, man, many people are making the argument that Djokovic will end up number 1. 4, Rod Laver. And then 5, Pete Sampras. All right, that's a good list. You're missing Bjorn Borg. You're missing John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors. Man, that's a lot. Andre Agassi, although I don't think Agassi deserved to make that list. Maybe like top 10 tennis players of all time, hair before they shaved their head and it didn't grow back. I could see Agassi being number 1 on that. All right. Oh, you know what? Then I did ask I said, give me 6 through 10 on tennis. So remember, we've got Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Rod Laver, Pete Sampras is 5. And then 6 through 10 is, this is funny, Bjorn Borg, 6. 7, Andre Agassi. 8, John McEnroe. 9, Ivan Lendl. Oh, I forgot about Ivan Lendl. I remember that dude. I like that guy. And then 10, Jimmy Connors. All right, so that's that. For women's, here's the top 10 women's players of all time. You've got number 1, Serena Williams. Number 2, Steffi Graf. 3, Martina Navratilova. 4, Margaret Court. I don't even know who that is. 5, Chris Evert. 6, Billie Jean King. 7, Monica Seles. 8, Venus Williams. 9, Justine Henin. 10, Yvonne Goolagong Cowley. Don't know who that is. Never heard of that chick. All right, golf. Top 10 golfers of all time. Here's one where, I don't know, this is controversial. 1 and 2. ChatGPT has number 1, Jack Nicklaus. 2, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, y'all. Number 3, Ben Hogan. Number 4, Bobby Jones. 5, Arnold Palmer. 6, Gary Player. 7, Tom Watson. 8, Sam Snead. 9, Seve Ballesteros. And then 10, Phil Mickelson. All right, good list. I guess you could debate 1 and 2 between Tiger and Jack, although, man, if Tiger didn't cheat on his wife, I think he'd end up being number 1. Man, that ruined the dude's career. All right, that's it, everybody. There we go. A fun little list of top athletes via ChatGPT. So anyway, all right, that's it for today. Have a wonderful weekend. Like I said, I will actually try to release the episode with Sam Moses tomorrow on a Saturday. So since this is a quick and easy episode, you'll have a good DSD business episode to listen to over the weekend. And pretty soon I'll start doing some promos, giving out some free socks. And next week we will have more guest interviews. Like I said, I'm really going to up the schedule. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Call a spade a spade. Talk to you soon.
The ending was terrific.
This episode was brought to you by the new book, Deep Shallow Dive Into You, available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in hardcover and paperback. Don't forget to sign up for our new mailing list on our website at deepshallowdive.com.